Hello friends, welcome to the Global Pulse. India opportunistic, such discussion in US on nuclear plant and arms deal with Russia. This kind of heading shows that Americans are more distrustful and suspicious about the Modi-Putin meeting and growing India-Russia relations. This event has become intolerable for them, not only the media world but the US leaders too. Americans are puzzled, bewildered and shocked and do not know what to do. During the Modi-Putin meeting, a deal has been made between India and Russia for 6 nuclear plants. Russia has agreed to help India build 6 nuclear plants. There is a lot of discussion in the American media and analysts about this. Prime Minister Narendra Modi signed 9 agreements in a number of areas, including trade, energy, climate and research, with Russia during his 2-day visit to Russia that ended on Tuesday. During this time, a big project was agreed between the two countries, in which it was decided that Russia will help build 6 new nuclear power plants in India. In the bilateral talks between Modi-Putin, it was also decided that Russia will also help India in building small nuclear plants of the next generation. After this news came out, many types of things are happening in the American media. Many American analysts are also commenting on this deal. Michael Kugelman, director of the South Asia Institute at the Wilson Center think tank, has expressed concern over the Indo-Russia nuclear plant deal. It may be of paramount concern to USA that both sides agreed to jointly manufacture spare parts in India, their components and other products for the maintenance of Russian-origin weapons and defense equipment, he said in a tweet. Why does America want to see India helpless? In response to his tweet, former Indian Foreign Secretary Kugelman Sibal wrote, "Why does America want India's defense machinery to collapse? American must understand that what they wish will never happen as far as India is concerned and should open their eyes to read the writing on the wall. Never pretend to be blind. Because, global politics has changed in the last decade and started taking new shapes. Hence they will have to be more practical rather than depending on their superpower status and stubborn attitude. Why does the US want India to appear helpless in front of China, which has currently adopted an aggressive stance on the border with India? Pakistan's old F-16 aircraft have been redesigned by the US and it is getting advanced weapons from China too. The US analysts have become self-centered and don't know what kind of situation others are facing, he said. Columnist Surya Kanagonkar also responded to Michael Kugelman for his comments. India uses Russian weapons which require spare parts. The two countries also jointly manufacture cruise missiles. Increasing the production of spare parts is important for India's own security. Moreover, if a somewhat Western-leaning India benefits from a stake in Russian military supply chains, the US should view it positively, he said. What did the American media say about this? American news network CNN has published an article on this, which is titled, "Sanctions on Russian Oil Brought Putin and Modi Closer. Now they are in the nuclear embrace." With this article, CNN has published a picture of Modi-Putin in which the two leaders are hugging each other. Despite US and European sanctions on Russian oil and gas, the Modi-Putin relationship has flourished and is now turning green, the Daily said. Both are also increasing their cooperation on nuclear. The US news network wrote, "In many countries of the world, there is a race to supply nuclear plants and fuel to other countries, and Russia is winning in many cases." Elizabeth Brow, a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council's Transatlantic Security Initiative, told CNN, "Commercially speaking, Russia is not good at making many things, but it has natural resources. It has had abundant nuclear resources since Soviet times and now it is something it can take advantage of. Some countries are keen to increase their nuclear energy and like oil, India wants to increase cooperation in this sector too. Even as the war has led the US and Europe to distance them from Russia, dominance in nuclear power is helping Putin maintain his place on the global stage, the US media wrote. Modi has stuck to India's tradition of non-aligned foreign policy, which allows him to trade with Russia while remaining a friend of the West. CNN further wrote, "It seems that the India-Russia friendship will remain. Deepening nuclear cooperation with 6 more plants will bind the two countries for decades to come. Nuclear plants can take years to build, but they need to be maintained regularly, equipped with new technology and supplied with uranium, which Russia has in abundance, he said. The American news network writes that Russia has held its position in the nuclear energy market for decades and separating from it is a big challenge for other countries. To reduce Russia's influence through nuclear energy, the US will have to make commercially competitive products. India is very pragmatic and, frankly, a bit opportunistic. If you can develop relations with Russia in an area where you have no disadvantage, there is no harm in doing so. At the same time, Browse says that India is refining Russian crude oil and selling it to Europe, which is benefiting it. It's a nice extra income for India that they didn't have earlier. So what's wrong with it from India's perspective? American TV channel Bloomberg TV, while talking about this deal of India-Russia, said that the timing of the deal is very important. Columnist Sudhir Ranjan told a Bloomberg TV program, in a way, it is a very routine thing that Russia will supply uranium to India for nuclear plants, but the other aspect of it is that when India and Russia are doing this deal, its timing is very important. This is PM Modi's first visit to Russia since Russia's war with Ukraine began in February 2022, in which cooperation in the nuclear field has been agreed. While the two leaders were signing the deals, the NATO countries were meeting in Washington where the war in Ukraine was the main issue. Thank you very much for watching. Always stay tuned for the latest news and updates across the globe. Goodbye and see you soon.